Hello, good morning. A very warm welcome to everyone and today's 1 Point Oneness meditation session. For those of you that are new, my name is Matthew, and we've been running these sessions now for about a year. And the idea came because many of us at one point have a regular daily meditation practice that we find extremely beneficial. And we thought it would be a really nice idea to be able to share insights into meditation practice and positive thinking and that whole area with a wider audience. And so 1 Point Oneness was born. And we've been very fortunate over the last year to have some wonderful facilitators, and that is also true today. I'd like to welcome Valériane Bernard to join us. Valériane, hello, very, very warm welcome. And just
Hello.
hi. Just a little intro to Valériane. Valériane represents the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University at the UN. With interests in the power of spirituality and faith, she's active in forums covering interfaith, climate change, environment, and human rights. These reaffirm the importance of ethics and the responsibility of each individual and nation to care for the earth and address climate change and its impact. Since 1992, Valériane has been involved in the ecological movement, raising public awareness about the impact of our relationship with ourselves and the environment on sustainability. Her interest in spirituality underpins her community-based activities. Valériane had insights at a very young age that only genuine personal engagement between people could create a quality of life in the human family. And today, Valériane, you're going to be speaking with us on the topic Going Beyond Fear, a great topic. So I'll hand over to you. Looking forward to the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matthew, and welcome to all of you here in this session. And it's my honor to be with you today. And yes, this topic is really a huge topic, and there is many ways to look into it. So I'm going to offer the avenue that has been of interest to me, that has worked for me, and the way we live our lives today, especially with the pandemic and everything, is amazingly full of different fears. You know, we have the economic fear, we have the fear of getting sick, we have the fear of losing the people we love. I mean, the list is endless, and I don't really want to go into that direction. And I think many of these fears are going to be agitated by the media, the social media, and the people around us. So first thing I would like to say is, in relationship with this, is that you do have a full world of emotions inside. We all have emotions and feelings, and when you look at life from a spiritual perspective, you start understanding that the emotions that are the most positive are those who are conducive to positive result. So it's like if a person feels good, feels love, feels harmonious, the kind of relationships that she or he will have is going to be is going to be of that quality. But if, on the contrary, I'm affected by fear or frustration or anger, the quality of my interaction and the quality of my decisions is going to be very poor. So that's maybe the first thing I would like us to agree on. I mean, I agree with myself, but I'd like to present that to you, because I think that if we do understand that, we realize, therefore, that it is so important to keep ourselves inside, and I cannot do that for anyone else. To keep ourselves inside in a state of being free from all this very negative emotions and feelings that are happening in our life. And so in order to do that, there is an avenue that is totally not right, which is the avenue we often use. We try to suppress what we don't want to feel. We try to excommunicate all the things that we believe are bad for us. But we don't actually deal with the issues themselves. And I think this is dangerous. This is not good. So I think that in a sense, whenever there is a feeling of fear or a feeling of worry, because the two is very often quite connected, we should, on the contrary, be very attentive and see what is it that this inner world of mine is trying to bring to my attention. Because I think an emotion is a way for our inner world to bring a message into our awareness. So then our awareness is our duty. It's our duty to take care of our awareness. So when I become aware of what's happening inside, I have the capacity to say, okay, I'm actually afraid because my mom is sick and I'm afraid she will die. So then it means I need to really do some very deep thinking on death. I need to do deep thinking on fear. I need to do deep thinking on aging. I need to understand for myself that, any life starts with a baby being born and ends up with an old person leaving the body, dying. That's how we call it. So when I start looking at these issues from a perspective of a spiritual understanding, then life becomes a constant opportunity to learn new things, to learn to understand myself, to learn to resolve things that are very deep within me. So when this emotion of fear comes, it is not for me to suppress it, but it is for me to deal with the issue, as I was saying earlier. And when I deal with this issue, if I deal with it in a perspective of what can I learn from that? What can I do better? What can I transform in my awareness or understanding that is going to help me in my process of living? And what's very important to understand also about these emotions, because you can say, that the speciality of fear takes a grip out of you, that's a cold emotion and it takes you down. So it's a very intelligent thing to do, to realize that there is fear when it starts. Because as many of the negative emotions that we are facing in our lives, when they are appearing in our awareness, they are quite easy to deal with because they haven't overtaken all our inner capacities. So we therefore have the ability to look at the issue, to resolve the way we look at the issue, transform our relationship with whatever problem this is manifesting, and then decide that we are actually the creators of our emotion. This is one of the fantastic things you understand when you practice the kind of spirituality that I practice. It's like, okay, I'm the creator of what I'm thinking. I'm the creator of what I'm feeling. So therefore, it won't help me if I'm feeling fearful in solving this issue. It's like if I'm afraid to lose my job and I go and see my boss with that feeling in my heart, On the contrary, my boss is not going to like the feeling he gets from me. So it's going to put me at risk, and it's going to feel inside as I am at risk now. So what is the way we can actually negotiate with our inner world so that we look at what's there and we decide, okay, I might lose my job. It's a truth, but it's not the end of the world. Even if the situation is complicated at the moment, there is something else for me to do instead of that job. So you come with much more wisdom, not pushing away the thought, not pushing away the feeling, not being influenced by the fear. Because then if you are influenced by that fear, not only will your boss grasp the feeling, not only everybody else in the room will be aware that you're not in a position of calm and intelligence, because my intelligence when I'm afraid is not working at its best. It might. Fear can deplete your power of physical strength. You know, we've seen little women pulling out cars from their children when they were at risk, because it really multiplies the physical power. But inside, it's so important to value the space of wisdom from which I can operate the best I can. And so one of the very important tools in order to go beyond fear is also one that I use quite a bit, is to see that, you know, these emotions, they almost come in layers. And you have the heaviest ones and you have the lightest. And what I seem to realize for myself is that fear is one of the very heavy emotions that it's a bit like, you know, I identify it, and it probably would help you if you also do that for yourself. You know, I would say for me it's almost like iron, cold, and it gets rusty and it gets it can really affect your health. So it's heavy, but you see, whatever is heavy goes down. So if you become very light, you easily go above it. And I think many of the emotions, when you start having a relationship with your inner world, you start seeing the symbolic for yourself. You start also being able to define what it is like for you. So for me, for instance, when I have defined that it is like a very heavy layer of liquid iron, I can say, okay, all right, this is there. I'm not saying it's not there, but I can go beyond that and go into a space of light, go into a space of well-being, go into a space of harmony, go into a space of light, of love, of peace. So it's almost like inner geography. Each one of us is responsible for himself and is also responsible to understand himself or herself. And understand how he or she functions. So then what I do very often also is realize that it's a bit like toxicity. You know, the toxicity of fear is such that it contaminates all my inner being. And so one of the things I need to do when I develop this inner power of observation, as I was saying earlier, for me this is when you want to work on the very true, deep things that are happening inside you. The one friend you have is your power of observation. So when you're observing yourself that way, you say, okay, this is there, this exists. But just like you let a heavy thing fall in the depth of the ocean, allow it to go and allow it to kind of sink in a space where it's going to be absent of your awareness now. And become aware of the present. One of the things that to me is very helpful is being aware of the present. So I want to actually do that exercise with you in meditation now, because I believe that the more we do this exercise of, being in the present, allowing ourselves to use the kind of feelings and experience the kind of feelings or emotions we want, the easier it will be when we observe our inner reactions with truth and clarity, and then becoming free from them. So these are the few steps that I'm offering you to work on in the meditation that we're going to have now. So for this, I invite you to sit comfortably, and look inside yourself. But in order to do that, first I want to invite you to do this little exercise that you can do anytime when you're facing negative emotions, is the exercise of conscious breathing. So you can have inside yourself the capacity of observing how you're breathing. Fill your lungs with air. And when you do that, be aware of your lungs, absorbing the air. The air for your lungs is like nectar, keeping you alive. Have this gratitude towards the air and all the plants that allow this air to be full of oxygen. And when you breathe out, allow this air to come out of your lungs. And be aware that what is coming out of your lungs now will very soon enter somebody else's breath. So now, when you breathe in, I would like you to consciously fill this air coming inside your body with the power of love. Love this air. Have gratitude for everything that allows this air to rejuvenate your blood and your body. And when you breathe out, be aware that this is your offering to the next person who will breathe in what comes out of you. Let it be filled with energy, love, gratitude. And now you go on breathing deeply with the same feelings that we were just exercising with, and gently I become aware of my inner world. Inside me, there is a whole geography. In the spirit that I am, there is mountains and landscapes of memories and actions and peoples and facts thoughts and moments that are registered into the tapestry of my inner self. But at the center of this tapestry, there is the inner, everlasting, ever-present potential of my being. At the core of my being, there is the potential of joy, of light, of love. Of harmony, sweetness, and beauty. So, even if I become aware of a certain part of my being reacting to events from a sore, difficult, traumatized area of myself, feeling anger or feeling fear, let me look at this from the perspective of a creator. I am aware that within me there is the capacity to react with fear because I'm unsure, because I don't know what the future holds. But also let me remember this incredible potential of lightness and love, of spiritual intelligence, with which I can experiment now at healing this part of me, this fearful, hurt part of me that I need to attend to. Each one of us is the only spiritual doctor able to attend to the self. And in this silence that I offer myself, and this moment of stillness, and this blessed instant of peace, let me use the ointment of love onto the wounds that are manifesting themselves in life, in my life, in my reactions. It is an opportunity to heal and take care. And be the spiritual doctor that has the vision that allows me to heal, take care, and become free from the effects of negativity, fear, or anger. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Valériane, for a very insightful and very calming session. I really enjoyed the meditation as well. And it's very interesting what you were saying about looking at fear within our meditation, and that it's good to catch it early, these emotions, when we can, before they take hold. I'm just wondering if for someone who's just starting out on their meditation journey, and maybe the emotions they're dealing with, be it fear or something else, has already become quite set in. It can be quite scary to look at these things inside. Do you have any advice from your own experience? Is it just a matter of regularly practicing these methods, or do you have any tips for that?
Thank you for this question, Matthew. I would say that it's not looking at your fear just like that, because then you're going to be taken by it. But it's remembering, first of all, that this is an emotion that I am creating. So it's acknowledging, first of all, that this is a manifestation of my inner self. It is not me, but it is created by me. So it's a bit like, I was giving the image of a landscape, right? If you look at a landscape, let's say it's a huge painting, you're going to see the waves of the ocean, and you're going to see mountains, and you're going to see a village with some cows and some trees and some forests. So yes, every little bit is part of the whole landscape. But the first thing is to remember that I am the observer of this landscape. That's who I am. I'm the observer. I'm the creator of the vision I have of this landscape. And I was there when this landscape got painted. I was there. But I am therefore now in a position of looking at it, and almost like if you are looking at the same painting, and I worked in a gallery for a while. So what you want to do is bring light to the painting. It's a whole world of difference. If you don't put the right light on the painting, the most beautiful thing seems dull. So now you are putting light on your painting, and this particular light of love, this particular light of peace, this particular light of self-esteem is going to give a healing to this part of you that needs healed, that needs to be healed. So remember, you are the doctor. Remember, you're the observer. Remember, you're not the painting, but you have this in you. You have created this.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that. So thank you to Valériane for joining us today. And thank you to everybody else that's been watching. Always great to have you with us. And as you'll see in the YouTube chat, there's links to feedback form and also to the 1.1ness webpage, where you can catch up on previous recordings, including today's will be available later. And also you can find out about future events as well. So next week we'll be here at the same time, at 9 o'clock on Friday, and we'll be joined by Sonia Olsen, who's going to be covering stepping into inner strength. So look forward to seeing you all then. In the meantime, have a wonderful day and weekend.